2, 3.
Hey everyone!
Welcome.
We're reviewing Star
First question, did this movie live up to the hype that it brought to fans?
To be
There
fair,
was
I
a
don't think
lot
many
of-
fans liked it.
I'm pretty sure the critic score was like a 92. The audience score is like 53. So this really disappointed fans.
Star Wars fans are hard to please.
There were some things I loved in this movie, and there were some things that I actually absolutely hated.
I thought of the movie more as a bridge between the first and the next movie that hasn't come out yet. In the next movie, it's going to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah.
This
So
time.
basically, the plot of this movie, it takes place right after The Force Awakens. The Republic, the First Order, has them pretty much cornered. Rey meets Luke, much like how Luke meets Yoda. Honestly, that was very similar to The Empire Strikes Back for me.
I was disappointed
So-
that Luke did not carry Rey around like Yoda carried Luke.
I
So
know.
Luke-
I don't think the movie was
Let's-
trying to be a lot like Empire Strikes Back.
I think it tried to have a lot of different throwbacks to old movies to appease fans. I
So,
want it
like,
to be its own thing. I don't
the
want it to try to
I
keep
felt
being
like the
homage.
throwbacks
pandering,
were
yeah.
basically repeating what they did in the original trilogy.
I mean, yeah, they have like nostalgia factors, but I really don't think that it tried to be Empire Strikes Back in the way that Force Awakens tried to be A New Hope.
I disagree with that.
I think
Yeah.
they definitely did a lot more callbacks than necessary.
Honestly, yeah. Let's talk about the pros of this movie. Great special effects. First of all, it's a Star Wars movie. The acting is, for the most part, really good. Mark Hamill probably delivers his best performance yet as Luke Skywalker. There's a message about animal cruelty in this movie. That was pretty good.
I've heard this been called the most vegan movie of the year.
There were a lot of interesting character things that happened.
Personally, I don't like where they took Kylo this route. He sounded like a whiny teenager.
So I think that's
Afflicted
supposed to be his
villain.
character, where he's trying to be like,
Yeah.
I'm this big, bad, evil, dark
But
lord,
he's
and everyone's
original.
like,
Love
no,
Kylo
you're
Ren.
not.
I just don't think that it was taken in the correct way with that concept. I do agree that he's supposed to be like, oh, I want this so bad, and kind of like a teenager, but I just felt like it got to the point where it was almost like he was getting annoying.
I always enjoy when he's on screen. It's like
I
you never
thought-
know which way he's gonna fall. You don't know if he is gonna be the
Yes.
evil or if he is gonna
I
go
agree with
Rey.
that.
I mean, we have to keep in mind that he and all of the other characters are also very young.
So basically, there is a storyline in this movie. This isn't really a spoiler. I think everybody has seen it. There's a love story with Finn and this one girl named Rose, and that was probably one of the weakest parts of the movie. Every scene other than Luke, Poe, Rey, and Kylo Ren just dragged for me.
I disagree.
I
honestly
disagree, too.
Got
Yeah.
pretty bored.
I do agree that it's not the strongest storyline, but everyone hates Rose, and I don't get why.
I
I
don't
think she's
either.
quirky
I know,
and cute.
I know that there is a group of the fandom who dislike Rose because in their mind they want like Finn and Poe to get together in Endgame.
It's not that I don't like Rose, because I
That's-
liked Rose's character. I just didn't like the love.
The storyline between the two I felt was weak, but they maybe added something that wasn't necessarily there. Honestly, if they weren't in the movie, I would have just gotten kind of bored with it. So I felt like the Rose and the Finn thing kind of was like, okay, so this also is happening. It makes it more enjoyable.
In my opinion, I think if any storyline is the weakest, it's the Starship storyline.
I
Yeah.
loved Laura Dern in this.
I
I
didn't.
didn't.
I didn't think she needed
I'm with
to be
you.
there.
I didn't.
And
That's
she's
good.
not
She's
like
good.
one of those like dynamic Star Wars characters.
No, I thought like the way that she was introduced, I thought she was gonna be a lot bigger role. Okay, we gotta get rid of them somehow. They can track us through light speed. What are we gonna do? I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, so I'm in charge now.
We didn't go into spoilers yet.
Spoilers! So Luke in this movie, people hated this direction. Even Mark Hamill himself hated this. He didn't think that Luke should have been this character who was like giving up on everything. I disagree with that. I
I was
really
gonna say,
liked
yeah.
the route that they took Luke with this, where he's like kind of lost all hope because he saw some pretty messed up shit when he was trying to teach Kylo Ren and the other Jedi.
I don't feel it.
Reach out.
I feel it! It's like tingling down my arm.
They literally raised parents in front of us and then just kind of went.
Honestly, I think she doesn't have parents at all. I think she was just
I don't
born
think-
by the Force.
I thought
Kylo's
she was
sister.
Kylo's
Like,
sister.
Well, do you think that Kylo is lying, or he is actually telling the truth that her parents really were nothing?
I think he's using that as a ploy to get
I
her
think
to
he
join
knew
him.
that that was like gonna get under her skin.
I think it's really interesting if that actually is true, because that's almost in a way an anti-twist, because Star Wars fans are expecting this big twist where she's Luke's daughter, and then they just kind of pull them under the rug. They're like, no, a hero can come from anywhere. That's the whole big
That's-
point with
yeah.
the little boy at the
Well,
end.
also
But-
with Rose, because Rose becomes a hero.
Yeah,
and she's
I think that was
from
something that
nothing.
Star Wars was missing before, was like everybody had come from the same like bloodline.
Along with this being the most vegan friendly, it's the most diverse movie that I've seen
Yeah.
Yes.
this year.
I want to talk a lot about Kylo Ren and his relationship with Snoke and Rey. I liked Kylo Ren to begin with in Force Awakens. I thought he was a really good villain. Like, honestly, he had more conflict than Darth Vader. And in the second one, he has even more. He doesn't really know what he wants to do. And then he finally does something in this movie that honestly had me shocked. He kills Snoke without him knowing. I literally freaked out. One thing that I loved in this movie
It's like
was
a
how,
fortune
like,
cookie.
Snoke connected Kylo Ren and Rey's, like, consciousness together to where they could see each other but in different locations.
I thought that was
That was-
shot.
that was my
was
favorite new
so
thing.
cool.
That's
Snoke
true.
said he was the one who did it, but I don't think
Okay.
he was.
Well,
And
no,
that's
Because I
true.
thought Snoke had manipulated the
Yeah,
Force connection.
yeah.
That's
Fair.
true.
What I have interpreted from it is that the thing that Snoke manipulated was when they touched, Snoke made it so Rey saw Kylo turning to the light and
That's a
Kylo
good
saw
point.
Rey turning to the darkness so that they would come together
That's a good
and they
point.
could kill each other.
Yeah.
Brett, what are you doing?
I actually thought for the longest time in the movie that Rey and Kylo were gonna switch. Like they were gonna try and come together but like miss each other, and Rey
Yeah.
was gonna go to the dark and
I
Kylo
was
was gonna go
kind
to
of
the
thinking
light.
That would have been
That would
fun.
have been when the whole Snoke death ends. After that had to be one of the greatest lightsaber battles in all of the saga. It had conflict, it had emotion in it, it was taken slow, it wasn't like super fast choreography.
And Snoke's temple is visually amazing. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my goodness.
There was a lot of
That
just like
was
visually
really
beautiful places.
Yeah.
Ooh,
in there.
yeah.
How do you guys feel about porgs? Because
I
I know
love
a lot of
porgs.
the stars don't like them.
I loved that with
They didn't get on
Chewbacca.
my
I know,
nerves,
I was
really
like, maybe
liked
because
that.
he's like roasting
Yeah.
Could we talk about, in my opinion, the dumbest moment of the entire movie?
Which is?
When
Okay.
Leia gets sucked out of a ship and then flies back with the Force. What
In
I'm
the
wondering
previous
is,
saga.
how can she die and then come
back.
back to life?
I feel like in the next movie, it'll just be in the yellow credits, like Leia
think
died
that,
or
honestly-
whatever, and then it'll start after or like at a funeral.
I
that
just
was her
hope
funeral.
they don't keep Leia. Give her the courtesy of
Yeah.
a death.
If they could have just killed her instead of having her fly back, I thought that would have been a nice.
Yeah.
And then
result of
reshoot it so that Laura Dern is the main
Yeah.
person the entire time.
Billy Lord in the movie,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
very
say.
much enjoyed.
Yeah.
Billy
Her
Lord
daughter.
is Carrie Fisher's daughter.
And I actually really liked the fact that like Carrie Fisher's last movie, her
had
daughter
her
was
daughter.
in it. I also just enjoyed Billy Lord's character. I felt like she was just the right amount of screen time. She acted it really well.
So
I know
now
what you're
I
gonna
would
say.
like to talk about the climax. The First Order is trying to break down the last resistant base. All hope is lost, but then out of nowhere, Luke appears. But it turned out that he somehow like projected himself into that area with the Force. Then comes the fight with Kylo Ren and Luke. There was one detail that stood out to me that was really, really cool. Whenever people like moved, it would show red, and when he moved, there was no red mark. Luke, I guess he uses too much of his like mental energy and he dies.
It's like a calm death. It's kind of like how Yoda
It
died.
was- Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
did you guys like
The-
Yoda
Yoda's
being?
Force
I loved
Ghost.
Yoda.
I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
how Yoda was not CGI. He was an actual
They
puppet.
made him a puppet again.
I love Yoda as a
Puppy
puppet.
Yoda was the
I
best.
was a little upset because I had heard that the Force Ghost, that it was going to be Anakin. I felt like that could
Yeah.
have been a bigger plot to it, but I think that having Yoda was
Yeah, that
also
would have
really
been an
Yoda was so
interesting
funny, too.
contrast.
When Luke dies, I really like this detail. It showed Luke like looking off to the sky, and there were
Did it
two
have the two
suns,
moons?
and it was the exact same as like his first like
scene.
appearance or whatever in Tatooine, where it showed like the two moons on that planet. And I thought that was
Best shot of the movie.
I honestly, that made me tear up. That was one of my favorite like callbacks to the original. I didn't think
Because
it
it
was
wasn't like in your face.
Wait, so we
Speaking
just-
of tearing up,
Alex Crime Eater.
this movie is a solid 4.
Yes,
I
sir.
cried a lot on the Carrie Fisher scenes, but I cried when Luke comes back to Leia.
I don't even know why, but I almost cried at the beginning whenever one of the
when they were
resistance
trying to bomb
fighters
the...
dies.
I definitely cried on that part.
Yeah,
too.
Rose's sister.
Yeah, Rose's
That was an
sister.
intense scene. It was really sad to see Luke go. I would have at least liked to see him in one more because he was really good in this. This was his best performance yet.
But I think they're also just kind of, it's about the new generation.
At the end of this movie, there is a little boy who's shown earlier in the movie, but at the end, slave owner or whatever asks him to go clean up or whatever, and he like picks up a broom with the Force, and you're like, yeah.
And he's got a little resistance ring.
And you're just
If you look at all the little boys
they're doing
that like
another
looked
one.
at that they're like, I could be a Jedi.
They're making another trilogy after this one.
Really?
Should we go to our final verdicts?
Show off.
I give this movie a 9 out of 10 because I enjoyed it a lot.
I feel like the majority of Star Wars fans will give this a high score because it's a Star Wars movie. That's not me. I judge movies on how I see them, not on how much I love the franchise. Like I said, there were things in this movie that I absolutely loved and adored, and there were some things that I did not like. They wasted Captain Phasma. I think they pulled another Boba Fett where they just wasted a cool looking character.
Yeah.
Luke, Kylo Ren, Rey, they were amazing in it. But because of those flaws, I'd give this movie a 7. But it is a really good Star Wars movie. It's not the best, obviously. I put it right below The Force Awakens.
I was gonna say that I preferred The Force Awakens. And I didn't see Rogue One, actually. I probably will one day, but I give it a 7 for now.
It's on Netflix.
This movie is divided into 3 storylines. One of them is phenomenal. The Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren storyline. If the entire movie was about that, it would have been as close to perfect as possible. They came up with so many new inventive things to do, and I loved every second of it. The other 2 storylines are not bad, but they are significantly less interesting. The conflict is pretty much always external. It was fun, but those 2 storylines kind of dragged the movie down from what I think could have been a really interesting idea. So I'm giving it a 6.
How I feel is almost like completely opposite of what Josh said. I feel like the Luke, Rey, and Kylo line was very repetitive, but I did really enjoy parts of it. I really liked Rose and Finn, enjoyed Poe's character throughout, and I hope that we can see more development throughout each character in the next movie. And I hope that the next movie answers some questions or fills some things in this movie. So I give it a 7.
I think there might be a love connection between Rey and Kylo Ren.
I hope
I
there's
saw it.
not.
I just think it's weird that we can't figure out whether their relationship is going to become romantic or siblings.
But
That was Luke and Leia. People were like shipping Luke and Leia real hard, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're siblings.
I hope they do nothing with Kylo because Kylo needs to figure himself out before he can get
Kylo's
romantic.
a bit of an angsty teen.
He needs a little bit of time for himself.
He's not ready for a relationship.
He needs to go on like a 3-day vacation.
That one scene where he's like repeatedly shooting at Luke, and that was
he's
the
like,
funniest thing.
No!
You got him.
Why isn't it working? What the f*** is going on? What the f***?
Kylo Ren, I must ask you, what the f*** are you doing?
I want every gun we have right now fired at that man!
Yes, sir. Do you think we got him?
Oh my god!
And all of like the actual like leaders of that are just like
The redhead dude.
I hated
General
him!
Hux?
I
Okay.
love General Hux!
Donald
He was a
Gleason.
good actor.
No, he is the best actor ever. Donald Gleason is awesome. This may not be his best performance, but Donald Gleason is fantastic in Black Mirror, Goodbye Christopher Robin, Ex Machina, Brooklyn.
Hi. So my review. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I also watched it in a really cush theater, so I had a great time. I had like a
Recliners.
dinner theater stuff where like I pushed a call button and somebody brought me tacos. I like got gluten-free cookies and like a cush recliner chair. It was
Where'd you
so
see
good.
it?
Dallas. The visuals were stunning. The white planet with the red was just absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking. Loved it. All the internal conflicts with like all of the characters. The contrast with Luke from previous movies to this one where he's lost all hope and that was a main character arc. Loved it. I didn't like the Rose Finn love, but you know, whatever. Love Rose, love Finn, not together.
They're siblings.
Leia coming back. I didn't like Leia's replacement. They forced it a little
Some
bit.
meh.
But overall, I had a good time. I will probably buy this when it comes out on DVD. I disagree with both of you. I like this movie more than I liked Force Awakens. Because I like the character arcs more in this movie. Anytime
Yeah.
where characters have weird internal conflicts, I'm there. Overall, I'd give it a 8 out of 10.
Final verdict is a 7.3333333333.
7 and a
Three
third.
repeating.
It's a 7.3 shirtless
It
Kylo
was-
Ren's out of 10.
He's
Actually-
wide, isn't he?
Adam Driver was in the Marines. He auditioned for
He went for
Juilliard, didn't
Marine
get in,
actor.
went into the Marines.
I thought he was in
Then he
Juilliard.
went in.
Oh, he
Came
auditioned
back,
again.
auditioned again and got
Yeah.
in. Such a cool. I watched his
What
TED
a
talk.
babe.
The Han Solo movie, though.
I'm ready.
not excited.
When's
I'm
that
ready for
happening? Yeah.
I'm ready for the Han Solo movie,
I-
just because I love Alden Ehrenreich.
Intrigued.
I
Yeah.
just don't know what it's gonna be about.
Neither
Oh,
do the
God.
writers or directors. They got 2 directors and they filmed 2/3 of the movie,
Yeah.
and then they fired them.
Yes.
Then they hired Ron Howard to direct the rest.
Yeah.
They said it was
Howard?
creative differences, and it's
Oh.
like you think they would have figured that out before?
So what did you think of Star Wars: The Last Jedi? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment and let us know. Peace out! Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, you can subscribe right here, and you can like right here because it really helps out our channel. And do not forget to subscribe to High School Film Nerds. Peace out!